Hello there. This is Divyansh, Customer Success Manager at Spur. A very common query that we get from people is if they've sent out a message with a quick reply or a bunch of options for people to select a response from, and if the person on the other end or the customer at the other end has not responded, how do we deal with that? How do we send out reminders to people to actually respond to us, to respond to a question? Because the flow will not proceed until and unless, you know, the person on the other end has responded, whether it's an order confirmation message or in this case where it's just asking them with a yes or no question, right? And in order to send out these reminders, in order to remind the person to actually give us a response, there's a small process, very simple, and I'm going to demonstrate to you. Uh, I'll demonstrate that in this video. So to do that, the first thing that we need to do is click on the plus icon on the right hand side, click on action, and we'll create an action block. And with this action block, we're gonna create an action, and the action will be save in workflow column, right? So we are essentially just saving whether the person on the other end has responded to us or not, right? So the flow knows that if that the person has responded or not, and if they have not responded, do something, and if not, do something else, right? So let's just make it responded yes, because in this example that I'm showing you, there's a yes and no option. So I'm making a flow for responded yes, and then I'm going to duplicate this and create one for responded no. So since in this particular flow we have yes and no, I'm creating these two, the data that I'm filling in these flow columns is yes and no, but you can fill in anything, right? And the last thing that we need is a condition block, right? So you have a condition block here, and I can click to add a condition plus condition group, and in this condition we're going to check if we have a response in the, like if we have any data in the responded workflow variable or not, right? So I'm just going to select responded from here. It will, if it's not showing up for you, save, and then this will show up on the workflow variables, right? And then click on has any value, right? So we are checking if the person has responded by seeing if this workflow variable has any value. If they have not responded, it will not have any value, and if they have responded, it will have some value, right? And the last thing we'll need, so we have created these three blocks. The last thing we'll need is our delay block, right? A delay, this delay block is basically the reminder, like the delay between the original message and the reminder that we want to send them. So let's say we want to send out a reminder after 2 hours, right? So the person will get this message, right? And if they don't respond within 2 hours, they'll get another message which we can write down, right? So we have all of these pieces in place, right? And now we're gonna just connect all of these, right? So I'm going to connect the yes one with this, and I'm going to put this in the middle of my yes branch. So by default I was just taking people to this message when they were pressing yes, but I've added the yes action block here. Similarly, I'll do that to the no action block, where if the person has tab no, they'll first their response will be recorded, and then they'll get the message, and this will not take a lot of time. As soon as they tap yes, they'll get a response. This only takes like half a second or so to execute. So yes, that'll happen. And the last thing, I'll add a delay block here, right? I'll add my delay block, so wait for 2 hours, and after 2 hours I'll add this condition block that I created, right? That is checking if the responded portion has any value. And lastly, I'll add my final message, right? So this is an Instagram flow, so I'm creating an Instagram and Facebook message here, right? I'm just going to delete these extra lines that have been created. Yeah. So if it has any value, do something. If it does not have any value, do something else. And it will not have any value in the case where the person has not responded. So that's why we want to connect it with this node, this branch, and I'll add the message. I'll say we're still waiting for your response. Please tap yes or no. I'll add a quick reply message to say that, and I'll add yes or no again to so as to give the person another chance to respond. And these yes or no ones, I'll again connect it with these branches that I have already created. So I don't need to write this message that I'm sending again. I can just use the message, I can just connect this block, the yes and no branches with the same node that these yes and no are getting connected to, right? So that will also work. So that's how we have added a reminder. If the person has already responded to this message, the first message, they will not get this reminder. And if they do get this reminder, they will be able to, just tap on the yes and no buttons in the reminder itself and uh, get the response that we wish to send them. Now, one thing to note here, if this was so this is an Instagram flow, right? And this is also after the person has already responded. If this was a WhatsApp flow, this initial message would have to be a WhatsApp message template, right? It would have been a message template, and the reminder also would have to be a message template. Anything else can be just a normal text message, that's fine. But specifically in the case of WhatsApp, this initial message would have to be a message template if the person has not responded to in the last 24 hours, which could be in the cases of some triggers, right? And this reminder will also have to be a message. So if this is a template, the reminder will also have to be a template. Just that's, I believe, simpler to remember. So yeah, I hope this helps you out. And if you ever want to send out any reminders to people to respond to a particular message, this is how you do that.